My name is Roy Jones. I'm the Chief Development Officer here at Eckerd Connects, and I want to welcome you today to Wednesday Lunch and Learn. And we are so excited to have a special guest today. And I've worked with her in the past, and it has been a lot of fun to work with Leigh McElroy. Leigh, as the Prevention Program Manager, coordinates youth-focused prevention services at 6 schools in Brevard County, while also creating community-based efforts to strengthen local youth and families. So if you've got community programs, and I know all of our 140 programs in 20 states do, Leigh has a brain that you want to pick, and you're going to pick up some great insights here. In addition, Leigh serves as a board member of the Brevard Prevention Coalition. She participates as an active member of the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force, the Community Leadership Council of the Endeavor Community Partnership School, and the Brevard Public School Parents Leadership Team. Leigh has worked at Eckerd Connects over 6 years now and has 20 years of experience in working with nonprofits. Leigh, thank you for joining us today. Take a few minutes and tell us about your program.
Well, Roy, thank you for having me. I love to talk about prevention services. So I am thrilled to be on the Lunch and Learn today. And I do want to give a quick shout out to the prevention team. I see several of them have joined, and that says a lot because they've had to step away from services at their schools. Here we are in the last few days of school, so big shout out to the prevention team. And a little fact for those that may not know, we have had prevention services here in Brevard County with Eckerd Connects for right around 20 years. And I think that's a pretty amazing statistic. We have been in different schools. We are currently, as you said, in 6 schools, and we're a growing program. Within those 6 schools, in 4, we serve elementary kids. So we are focused on 3rd through 6th grade, and in 2 of our schools, we are working with middle and high schoolers in an alternative learning setting. So we are spread throughout this long county of Brevard. Within our program, we have 3 primary models of service. We work with our kids in the large classroom setting. We work with selected kids in small groups. We love those small groups. We get to have a lot of fun when we're at a table with just 3 or 4 kids. And then, of course, our most intensive service is when we are working one-on-one with a student, and that is where we get to help a child or a young teen set goals. And as we all know, if you can set goals and achieve them, you can really see the endless possibilities. Outside of those services, we actually do a lot more with prevention. We offer family events where we're working with our parents and our guardians. We offer school events where we may be doing training with our teachers and school social workers and guidance counselors. So we're really big on engagement. We're really big on looking at what else can we do with prevention services outside of just classroom and youth engagement. And I want to make sure everybody knows what prevention is, because it's kind of a broad term. For our prevention services, our ultimate goal is to strengthen every child that we work with so that through their strengths, they are capable of abstaining from substance use and violent behaviors. And I'll share a quote with everyone. I keep this posted on my office wall, and I refer to it on tough days. I refer to it when, I feel like we're facing new barriers like the pandemic. But this to me is the essence of what prevention services looks like. It is social emotional learning that is the ground floor of the building, the foundation of the schoolhouse. And without it, the institution crumbles. And so in a nutshell, if you're wondering what we do, we bring strength-based topics to these kids. We are working with them on empathy, how to identify, name, own their emotions, conflict resolution, making decisions, self-esteem. And we even get into like the power of advertising and how that can affect them when it comes to substances that they might be confronted with as kids.
Leigh, we're going to get into some of those techniques in just a minute. Take a few seconds and few minutes. I'd like to just hear. I want to hear the Leigh McElroy story. I mean, how did your heart get turned towards helping these young people? How did you get to Eckerd? Walk me through your journey.
Well, Roy, I have to share that growing up and entering adulthood, community-based work, youth programs, it wasn't on my radar. Nonprofit work, it wasn't on my radar. For me, growing up, and I think a lot of individuals face this, and a lot of women face this, we're taught that achievement looks a certain way, that if you want to be seen as a leader and if you want to have personal accomplishment, things have to look a certain way. And so, for example, growing up, there was always a lot of debate about who's going to go to law school and who's going to go to medical school, and how do you come out and change the world. And I think what we miss when we keep the box so specific are all of these other opportunities and the impact that social services, the impact that passion work can really have on you as an individual and on your community. And so for me, I had my eye, on those big prizes that the culture kind of set up for me to desire. And my first job choice out of college, it was between a job like that or a community-based job. And I can only say that there is a higher power I believe in, and I went with the community-based program. I have always worked with children. I've always developed programs for families and children. I've exposed myself to cultures that I was not exposed to growing up. And several years later, my husband's job brought us to Florida and to Brevard County. And as a military wife, I had to start over. So any military spouses out there know just how sacrificial it can be to start from scratch. And I will never forget coming to interview and meeting Stanley Briz and hearing about Eckerd Connects and Eckerd Services, and knowing that this was the place I wanted to be. It was maybe a year after that I met David Dennis right here in our office, looking at our Room of Hope, and knowing that he was, the lead for this agency, and being able to connect with him and understand his personal passion. It was really a moment of knowing that I was here for a reason. And so over the years, I found my place with prevention services. I love being around prevention specialists when they are doing their thing and working with kids. I probably quickly took over field trips from Stanley because I just enjoyed them so much. And I'm not looking back. I'm just going to keep moving forward and see what the future holds.
Yeah, you talk about the impact that Stanley and David have on your thinking. They're both great men of great vision, and they have certainly influenced me, both of them, in so many ways. Leigh, that is just special. I'm going to kind of pivot here, and you can protect the kids' anonymity as much as you can. But we've got some pictures of you and some of your team kind of in the middle of the work, and I'd like you to kind of use those pictures to talk to some of the techniques you use in the prevention program. Let's see if I can share the content here.
Yeah, this is the exciting part for me, you guys, because this is where I get to story tell a little bit. And I sent these pictures to Roy because as much as I can talk, and my team knows I can talk, it really, it's about seeing what we do and seeing what's behind the words and behind the description of services. So I'm excited to share these pictures with all of you and really show you the impact that we can have on our youth.
All right, can you see which slide are you seeing now?
So we are seeing a slide where we've got a couple of youth sitting on the floor with some notebooks open. So we can
Great.
start right here with this one.
Tell,
Every
tell us what's
year,
going on there.
I will. Every year at state conference, we've been exposed to a phenomenal group out of Miami called Motivational Edge, and it has been a dream of ours to connect them. And who would have thought that we would connect during a pandemic? But we did. We removed those barriers, we broke them down and jumped right over them. And last November, we worked very hard with a community partner because these events were not allowed in our schools. And so a community partner worked with us and we offered a lyrical expression workshop with our elementary students. So what you see here, you see there's really 3 students in this image. They have these journals open and they have an adult staff with Motivational Edge working with them. And they are converting their emotions and their thoughts and feelings into written word. And so as she is snapping, she is giving them that musical tone to start to sing what they have written. And then later through this event, we had students that were confident enough to record, and their recordings were turned in, to shareable links that we could send to them and to the school. It was really amazing to see 7 to 8 kids that, even though they went to the same school, they didn't know each other. Different classes, a couple of different grade levels, some really shy kids. We have one student at this event that kind of is known as getting in a lot of trouble at school, but during this event, there were no issues. And it just shows you, give them an outlet, let them talk about what is going on. So that's what you see here is a lyrical expression workshop with elementary age students.
Wow. Wow. So actually helping the kids to, through writing, to put their emotions into words.
That's it.
Now this looks like fun.
Okay, so this was a lot of fun. And if I say that every picture is my favorite, I mean it. I love all of this. So I might, say that about each activity that comes up. So this was our first engagement mural activity. This is at one of our alternative learning centers. So these are youths that have, had an issue at their regular school, and instead of expulsion from the school system, they are placed in an alternative setting. It could be a substance use issue, it could be a school threat issue, or an issue with violence. So there's a multitude of reasons why a student might go to an alternative setting for anywhere from 9 weeks to the entire school year. And so we worked with a very well-known local mural artist by the name of Chris Maslow. He also sits on our advisory council, so he's the real deal. He's in, and he wants to be a part of what we do. And so we brought Chris to the school and he talked to the students, what do you want a mural to say? And the kids were, they came up with different positive terms and they landed on unity. Let's do something, around unity. And so this is probably the middle point. Chris will kind of give the layout of the graffiti mural, and then the students pick up the paint cans and they go for it. What's great here is, and as a parent, I'm super guilty of this, but this isn't about staying in the lines. This is about freedom of movement and expression. And so the kids are really getting that freedom, and Chris is giving it to them. And then, of course, at the end, he comes in and he puts his final artistic touch on it, and it becomes a finished piece. And when I tell you that this school is proud of this, I truly mean it. I was at the school just last week, and their administration still glows when he talks about this event and the energy that was created with the students. So lyrical expression and murals on the wall, we've got those two covered right now.
Wow. So in this case, I mean, you're really like in the last example, you're teaching people to put emotions in writing, in words. And here, they're using their artistic talent to again illustrate some great principles and learn and apply some great principles. So
that's right.
How special. What are you doing here?
All right, so this is completely different from the first two. In this picture, we have a few employees from SpaceX. For those of you not here in Brevard County, we are the Space Coast and we like to launch rockets. So we have been blessed by our community partners and the relationships that we build, whether it's Northrop Grumman or SpaceX or printing companies, petroleum companies. We have incredible supporters. And SpaceX picked up the phone at Christmas time, the holidays, and they said, how can we help the kids that are right here in our immediate community? And we happen to have two schools in their immediate community. So we connected them with wish list for our kids. And I have to tell you, they, meaning SpaceX, blew us away. The energy and the heart for giving to others and wanting to be, just hands and feet. SpaceX did it. Northrop Grumman did it. I mean, it was just amazing. We actually had a truck, as in like a semi truck, show up at this school, and we had to unload these purple and orange bags. They went above and beyond. You see the black stickers on those bags. Those were the names of each team. So we could see where it was like the Dragon capsule team, which is that component that they're actually putting humans in now and people and sending them up into space. And so we were just blown away. But this is something else that we do. When I mentioned that prevention isn't just what are we doing in the classroom, it is that and more. And so this is
it involves people in the community, right?
That's right.
Now, is this kind of project, I'm so intrigued by this. Now, of course, SpaceX and others participate in this one, but is this the type of thing that donors maybe on the phone with us today could get involved in if they had their own project, or do you have a list of projects they can help with?
Oh, we have a list. Absolutely. I love it when donors ask. I'll give you a great example. Northrop Grumman came to us recently and said, how can we help? And with a new school year coming up and a new school year where all of our kids are going to walk through that school door after more than a year of a pandemic, my answer was, we need shoes. And not just any shoes. We want shoes that will restore dignity to our kids. We want our kids to have choices. When they don't have proper shoes that fit or that they can run in at school, how incredible would it be to give them a choice between 3 or 4 different pair in their size? And so we're working with Northrop Grumman to put together a shoe drive this summer for that purpose.
That's a great idea. So if you're a supporter of Eckerd Connects and this program is touching your heart, you need to get in touch with Leigh McElroy and let her know you want to get involved. And sounds like she's got some things she could involve you in. So Leigh, what is your email? We're going to have you give it again at the end, but would you mind shouting it out and putting it in the comments?
I don't mind at all. So it is L and then McElroy, McElroy at eckerd.org.
Awesome. Awesome. That is awesome. What a great project. I'm glad you showed that. Now this looks like fun. Actually, this looks more like my wall, I think, but um, uh, talk to me about this.
So I have to brag. This is a brand new prevention specialist. Her first year in the role, her first year at the school site. And I walked in to visit her one day and I saw this bulletin board. So she put this together. And as you see, it says, take what you need and give what you can. And it allows teachers and students and administrative staff to post positive affirming statements or receive one. So in the choices below, hope and kindness and inspiration, they can take an affirming response and keep that with them. And what this illustrates to me, Roy, is how much we want to impact the culture of the school. So yes, our services are focused on the youth, but what are our services if we're not impacting culture? And so we want to work with our administrators and our teachers to, really expand positive support, social emotional learning, affirming messaging throughout the school as much as possible.
Awesome. 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 I love that. And again, just another way to involve the school, the community, and the kids in what you're doing. Get to the next one.
Yeah. And the next two images, they're a part of the same event, but I wanted to focus here on a specific aspect of this event, before we go to what the final product looked like. So one of the initiatives we're proud of, and this is in cooperation with the Brevard Prevention Coalition and our local municipalities and police departments, we are really trying to listen to what is happening in our community and how can we be a part of conversation, a part of working towards unity and working towards community. And so we all know that there has been a lot of challenges, between our youth and our families and, police in our community. And so we worked with the Melbourne Police Department and we had a supportive event where we were working on a mural, again with Chris Maslow, but we also set up activity stations outside with the students and let them choose. So we had a group of students playing kickball with police officers. We had a group of students doing cornhole. We had students like the one you see here in the picture actually painting the mural with the officer. And what comes out of this type of work is conversation. These students get to see police officers in a different setting and vice versa. Our officers get to see our students in a different setting, and we get to allow those two, parties at the table to have meaningful conversation and to see the person, to see the humanity that we often, skip over, when we're dealing with something that's hard. And this is hard work. And then what's great is this officer picks up the can of spray and he's spraying the wall and he looks over and he's like, I'm painting graffiti. It's fantastic. And if you go to the last picture, this is what the mural completed. This is what it looked like. So this is a raised bed garden area at the school. They're now growing different flowers and vegetables. And this is it, grow. And as we know, that word is not just about those flowers and vegetables. It's about the individual person as well. And so grow indeed.
Wow, that is so special. And again, teaching the principles without a lecture. That's the thing I love about what you're doing here, Leigh. And it's really interesting. People are posting in the chat box, I love this, great idea. I'm going to do this. These are techniques, regardless of the program people are part of, that can be replicated across the country in many of our 140 programs. So just great thinking. Of course, I shouldn't expect anything more from what you and your team are doing in Brevard County, Florida, with our prevention and family services programs. It's so special. Um, Talk to me now. You know, it's exciting now to think about, and we talked about this just earlier in our pre-show. But talk to me about what it's going to be like as COVID begins to subside, and you can begin to get back into classrooms again. What are they saying there, and what are your expectations?
So as a team, we are planning and prepping, and we are really spending a lot of time thinking about what we're going to experience when all of our kids return next year. And what we know is that this pandemic has definitely had an impact on our families, you know, on our teachers, our social workers, and of course on our students. So as a team, we're working hard to understand even more than we already know trauma and its many faces and its many outcomes. We are working equally as hard to bring new tools into the school next year. We're pre-planning to work with our peers at each school a week or two before it opens to, you know, share this knowledge, share this information. And, you know, when schools start and kids are there, like I said before, academics is great. We know it's a key to success. But if we don't put that foundation in there, if we don't focus on that strength-based social emotional learning, the institution will crumble. And so we're gearing up for next year, knowing what we might see with behaviors and expressions and how families have been challenged. You know, we've got a lot of kids going into summer school this summer because of, you know, academic setbacks. And so that's what we're preparing for, is to see what we already see and we know it exists, but know that it might be, you know, twice as much and twice as hard as it has been before.
Wow. Talk to me about just some of the potential needs that you might have. I know your program and Mr. Bree Stanley has done a lot of success awards for some of the stars in your program, and of course that's a need for supporters that are on the phone. You know, the average success award is about $1,500. It can be used for all kinds of things. In some cases, it is a scholarship for an ongoing program. In other cases, it might be providing the cost for transitional housing. It might be providing the cost for new school clothes. It could be any number of things that are presented to the top performers in the program. But what other needs do you have, Leigh, that supporters might need to be aware of?
Well, Roy, you're speaking to it, you know, very, very well and so accurate. With prevention services, our needs are really on a very broad spectrum. It can be something as simple as, like, right now, I have a student that needs bedding. He lives in a hotel with another sibling and with one parent, and his request has been bedding. We have students, obviously, that need shoes and clothing. And then on the other end of the spectrum, when we're looking at success awards, you know, it's critical for us to build confidence in our kids and inspire, you know, hope and future for them. And what we find, especially when it comes to success awards, when we're sitting down and we're working with the youth, there's an awakening for us as the adult on the other side of that table that our kids struggle to know what to ask for. They don't feel worthy of it. In their world, that's not a possibility. And so we have to dig really deep to open that possibility up for them. So when we finally get that to a success award, it's critical that we have a donor that's willing to support it, Because if that success award can be approved and provided for, it may be the first time that that child sees their value and their worth and knows that this adult they trusted enough to work on that application came through for them. So whether that's something needed for academics or training or summer camp or their first time ever going to Disney, it is so important to building their self-confidence and really inspiring them to know that they are worth having a future.
Mm. Wow, of course, I know one of the things that your program is very good about, and that's thanking donors personally. And you've used it in a way that it actually teaches philanthropy and stewardship and giving back to the student. We get just some of the most amazing thank you videos from the kids and families. We get some amazing handwritten notes. We take those handwritten notes and we literally, in most cases, frame them and mat them so that it's something that a supporter can keep and hold on to. And we give them to the supporters, and it means a lot to them. And just that whole concept of teaching philanthropy, not just to the staff, but to the kids, that hey, you can receive support, but you can be appreciative of it and learn to say thank you and share that. So I think you guys do a great job at that.
Thank you. And again, I have to give a shout out to the prevention team because they have come such a long way in learning how to use different types of equipment and software and produce these videos on their own. And they amaze me. In addition, they keep raising the bar, Roy. I think one comes out, 6 months ago. I'm blown away. I'm like, this is fantastic. And then fast forward 6 months and they look totally different, and they've got music in the background. It's just the talent on this team and the people willing to come in and work with us and work with our kids. It's really it's mind blowing. And I am so proud of them and what they do every single day.
Well, I'm so appreciative that your team is willing to share that information. Mr. Roy and Ms. Cat have done lunch and learns and training for our other program leaders on how to create social media. Of course, Mr. Briz Stanley has done numerous training workshops for our programs around the country. Again, you talk about stewardship and philanthropy and giving. Sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes it is about time and technique and just sharing what's working with others. And we so appreciate everything that Prevention and Family Services is doing for so many, not just in Brevard County, but around the country. So again, thank you so much. I do want to kind of open it up. Do we have any questions from folks on the call today? I get accused of using all the oxygen in the room and never give people a chance to ask questions. So here's your chance. You can ask tough questions too, not just softballs. So I think Leigh can handle them. Any questions at all? It's like pulling teeth.
I'm not going to ask any questions. I don't want to put her on the spot.
Yeah, you can ask some loaded questions, Stanley.
I could, but I could. I would just ask Leigh if she wanted to talk any more about ways that others could engage their communities to help support their program. She did a really good job of showing how we do it here.
Stanley, I would start by saying a lot of communities and a lot of school systems do not have prevention services. It might be just that missing link. And so I would say to others, look in your community, look at your Boys and Girls Clubs, reach out to your law enforcement partners and ask, what engagement is happening. And if it's not happening, look for ways within your own talent, your own time, your own resources that you could be a part of, putting something together. maybe even at your own child's school, if you don't see the social emotional learning opportunities, if you're not seeing, a culture that is bringing that in as part of the conversation, sit on those parent committees, attend those meetings, and speak towards wanting that type of engagement.
Well, I think this has just been tremendous, Leigh. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. You have, really kind of expanded our vision for what teaching and mentoring is, and it's just exciting to see all the new ideas that have been mentioned here. Again, I want to encourage you all. You can email me anytime at rojones@eckerd.org, but feel free to reach out to Leigh and Stanley directly. Again, they're developing these techniques and these programs not just to use in their backyard, but to use in your backyard and to use in more than 20 states that Eckerd operates. So they are there to serve you. They're doing this as a strictly labor of love. Leigh, we so appreciate you so much. Great job, and just excellent job today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the platform. I hope everyone can tell that I am very enthusiastic when it comes to talking about prevention services. So please, my email is an open door. I welcome it. If you're inspired by something and you want to see it happen in your community, in your program within Eckerd Connects, reach out to me.
Great. Well, we will sure do that. I want to remind folks that next week is the first week of the month, and we will not have we don't have lunch and learns the first week of the month. So it'll be 2 Wednesdays from now. And please continue to join us, be part of Wednesday Lunch and Learn. Please share the social media. Please share the email with others that you know. This is a great community as we support one another, and you'll find out and get an inside look at what we do here at Eckerd Connects. Thank you, Leigh, again. Thank you, Brevard County and our prevention and family services programs. We so appreciate you and the role model you are for all of us nationwide. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.